To Matters Arising this Friday. Hello, guys. Happy weekend.
Thank you. Big Friday.
Yeah, we're starting off from the inclusion of Yemi, the executive director of Enough is Enough Nigeria, in ADC for Policy Formation Committee. So Yemi Adamolekun, raised, how do I describe that? Those words, an attention tagging Aisha Yesufu, tagging Bolaji Abdullahi, and she said, ADC, ADC, ADC. How many times did I call you? This is not how to build credibility. Please show me evidence of when I joined your party. Now what? That was a splinter. And Bolaji responded, and finally Aisha responded. But I want you to draw attention to how both of them responded. Bolaji tried to be smart before I have you to start. He tried to be smart, which is not bad. He said it is important to point out that not everyone on the ADC Policy and Manifesto Committee is a member of the ADC. Many are not even politicians. This is because the ADC believes that the task of developing workable public policies for the benefit of all Nigerians should not be left to politicians alone, trying to defend the error. That is the old order of people like Lai Mohammed that never gets wrong. Anything they say, they find a way of putting it. For example, what happened in Turkey, people are saying because the rug was not well laid, things like that. You see why people have a little bit of issues with Obi going to ADC, because you are going to make the same old kind of politics there. But look at how Aisha Yesufu responded. She wrote, "This is inexcusable. Taking responsibility. On behalf of my party, accept my apologies for this mix-up. We do not take you and your need to have a better Nigeria for granted. Like you rightly pointed out, you ought to have been informed and your consent gotten before your name is published. This is well noted, and going forward, we will continue to ensure due diligence," and much more. You see, taking responsibility doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. So now in ADC, this is where we are going. Are we going to have a contrast for the people like Bolaji Abdullahi, who believes in the old way of trying to wriggle out of any error rather than telling the people, oh, it was a mistake? Or we're going to face the likes of Aisha Yesufu, who, in all sincerity, they want to do better, but they understand that they are also human. Let me start from you, Philip.
Thank you very much. You see, that is the question. Is the ADC the final bus stop for the opposition group to unseat this government? And if it's the final bus stop, will there be any change with those who make up the ADC as it is today, especially the leadership of the ADC, the likes of Bolaji, who could not take responsibility for his action? Because what are we lacking in this country is that the leadership of this country has always shied away from taking responsibility. We just spoke about a tax reform that is before the public. What was the query of Senator Aliu Dime? He said it lacks transparency, and responsibility. This is the same kind of people.
Yeah.
Bola Abdullahi has shown clearly that it's not different from those who are power today. But on the contrary, you see a new Nigeria that is possible in Aisha Yesufu. Yusuf said, look, we're sorry. We know that you have much interest as we have to change this country, but that's not to do things crudely the way it has just been done. It's an inexcusable excuse. We can't take excuse, but rather we take responsibility. We are sorry, but going forward, we will do the right thing.
We'll do better
as we move forward.
I think for me, I think we should commend Jamie, because some other people would have seized the opportunity and trashed this. But she was mild with her words. She didn't want to escalate it. She just drew the attention to it. And that shows difference between those that see politics as a profession and those that see it as a vocation. For Aisha, it's a vocation. She has a life. I know you take responsibility in your daily life, in your daily businesses. So that's why she took the rat she took, and the rat guy that no one calls them. It shows that those politics for them is the business. So what do they intend doing? The most and they shift the buck. They don't take blame. They don't accept their mistakes. It is inexcusable. No matter what you want, see, not to stop you from reaching out to people. You don't go and publish people's name. on a committee they are not aware. And you give me that
on a party they are not a member.
You give me that excuse. Yes, I could. If you want to be the base, build that committee with those that are not in the party. The right thing to do is to reach out to them.
Yeah.
He cannot infringe on people's rights. For me, they infringe on her rights.
The truth is that he claimed to say that the task of building in Nigeria is not left for politicians alone. Has it formed a government? The task of winning the election is solely a political party affair.
Fair.
And ADC is working day and night to win election. So why dragging people who do not belong to your party to become part of your party? So it's
one broad base.
You can hire, for example. Now, it's not the best of things. You see Nigerians, when you open our constitution today, you see with the people of Federal Republic of Nigeria. That wasn't written by us. You can hire people to do function, no doubt, but it must be by their consent, and they must know what you want to do. And there is no way you would have engaged somebody to be in an assignment, and the person will say, "I'm not aware." How? There are certain things the person might not want to do, even though you think Yemi Ademoloku is working towards a better Nigeria. You also think you're working towards a better Nigeria. The route might be different, what two of you call better Nigeria might be different.
It's relative.
It's relative. It is different, and that's one of the reasons we are not even making headway in Nigeria. For example, somebody who is very religious, a Christian, might say, "What he calls a better Nigeria is when all Nigerians are Christians," and somebody who is an Islamic extremist, what he calls a better Nigeria is when all Nigerians are Muslims. Meanwhile, there are people that what they call a better Nigeria is a Nigeria where the greater proportion of us are not poor, where we have infrastructures that are working relative to all other countries where we travel to. A country where we have one of the lowest unemployment rate in the whole world. That might be what they call a better Nigeria. So it's relative. Because you sing the mantra of a better Nigeria doesn't mean that you are going to cajole any other person into believing what you think the person you believe. Now let's go to a little bit step forward. The credibility of ADC, do you think this has affected it?
Grossly. You see, especially when you have the likes of the spokesperson of the ADC coming to try to be smart and then try to defend what is not defendable. It shows that the ADC we are talking about is not what we expect of the ADC. And that's why some people are saying that, what is Peter Obi doing with the ADC? Because these people are not different from what we have. Some people have even said that Peter Obi has gone to form a relationship with reptiles and crocodiles to help destroy Nigeria, because the people who are in the echelon of ADC today, we know them. Aregbesola has been commissioner,
David
has been governor, he has been this.
He has been minister, minister of Interior.
As a governor of Osun State, wanted to introduce what do you call it, the Muslim soft in the entire Osun State, and it caused ripples. The school were closer, there were protests. We have David Mark, who has been a minister under military, who has been a senator and a senate president for 8 years. We didn't see anything he did. The only thing he can boast of is the doctrine of necessity that usher in Goodluck as an active president. Other than that,
when he was a minister before, he told us that cell phone is not for his poor person.
But for me, I think they are not badly hit, not because they don't deserve it, basically because of Yemi. If she had wanted, as I said, if she had wanted to destroy ADC, they gave it to her on a platform. And again, Aisha being bold enough to admit the mistakes. So it shows that within that group, there are still some sane people within them.
That's what I say. You see, when you say some people, you see, Aisha Yesufu is part of obedient. Obi is the head of the obedient. I was saying that what is Obi and the obedient group are doing in ADC. We have advocated here and everywhere that, look, Obi do not need ADC. He could have picked any other political party, such as the new movement, what they call the NMR.
So what happened in the last election? Election, like we know, it's not Sunday politics, so it's not Sunday school. Election, you need everybody on board.
No, you didn't. No.
Okay, I'm going somewhere. Yeah. I'm not saying the group he joined is the best, but if his group could take control of what happens there, because the last time we saw what happened, Labour was best for Obi, but we didn't have structures. Were they able to man in every polling unit? Were they able to guarantee the results?
The difference here is that you see,
No. When you
a
have
few months of election, we had a whole 2 years or 3 years or 4 years to build a political party from the start, where he will put his people in a position of authority. He advocated yesterday, which Obi could have explored. By as of today, Obi had a party agent throughout the federation.
Now you know that Aisha Yesufu is simply in ADC because of P2B.
Yes, sir, that I know.
She didn't hide it. You know, she's a staunch follower of P2B because she believes in what Obi epitomizes in the eyes of Nigeria. Obi epitomizes lack of wastefulness. He epitomizes probity, accountability. You know, imagine somebody who served as governor for 8 years and has been challenging EFCC on daily basis. If you have anything against me, come forward. He might not be the best in knowing how to activate the best fiscal policy for Nigeria, but that of wastefulness. Nigerians are tired of seeing politicians live in affluence while telling them to wait for tomorrow. And they do know that P2B will ride in the same bus with them. So because of things like this, when you now have other people that are controlling the mechanism, now still being of the same type of people that created the problems we are trying to solve, you know, how is it going to affect ADC? You can see these two people speaking.
I see, if I say I don't get the feelings or sentiment here, I'll be lying. But what we're talking about politics. Obi is a politician. What you do most times, you do your political calculations. See, politics or inclusiveness wins. If you start to exclude people based on your own sentiments.
Okay, now let me call you so we don't digress too much. If at the end of the day, Atiku didn't step down, Amechi didn't step down because they've been working on their candidacy even before it joined ADC, and for any reason, any of them wins the primaries, what will be of ADC that they are formulating today?
I want to say, I've said this before to answer your question. Most parties put their best foot forward.
No, I've just asked a question. If this happens, because it's a possibility.
No. If ADC feels that any of these people can win the elections, fine for them.
Beautiful. So let's leave that for now, because we are talking about now. Nobody in Nigeria is scared to talk about Coup. Yeah. About 3 months ago, you know, people were not sure if it happened or not because the government chose to misinform the people. Even actually, even almost how do I call it, branding those talking about it enemy of Nigeria. You know, now the defense headquarters has come out to talk about it, and I don't think they are enemies of Nigeria, because people need to know the motivation. They we saw that they were stagnated and things like that and all that. You know, are those sufficient to want to remove a government? Because you're stagnated in a promotion, you didn't pass your exams or whatever, is it sufficient to form a common interest to remove a government simply based on that? Or they were feasting on what the Nigerians are looking like? Because sincerely, if you remember the day the coup in the Benin Republic was void, you know, even the success of the coup in Guinea-Bissau. Some Nigerians were, you know, saying, I wish is here, until we cautioned them that the military rule is not what you think. Is there anything that the government is still hiding for us by not presenting the real motivation of these people to carry out this coup?
You see, the question you ask is very simple. The stagnation, is here enough? When a man goes into a career, he had a pathway, he had a dream of what he wants to achieve. For instance, a man who went to the NDA and was commissioned, and then his hope is to become a major general, and maybe one day he become chief of army staff, or and chief of defense staff. And when the man gets to a colonel or a lieutenant colonel, he's stagnated. People who are in a situation where you have a chief of army staff who was meant to retire, remaining there for decades, and people who were supposed to grow are being retired. Is that not enough for you to take a decisive action?
But is that enough to take over the entire country for yourself?
That's one. So now, coming to the entire country.
So what if you are a civil servant in the Ministry of Finance? What do you do?
That's what I'm coming. The same thing that made that man to be stagnated is affecting the generality of the entire nation.
No, we do not know why they are stagnated. It could be that they didn't pass their exams.
Yes, see, you may claim not to know, but because the reason is simple, is bad governance. Because the
so that's what I'm asking. Was the issue of them being stagnated
or bad governance?
No, hold on.
Okay.
If you write your exam and fail, it's not the issue of bad governance.
No, but that is not what happened.
No, we don't know. That's what I'm asking.
So you may not wish to know, because what is it bad governance? The man who is stagnated,
so meaning that the what government is presenting to us, that issue of not passing the exam might not be the only reason.
That is not the only reason. The government they are always truthful. Do you trust this government who said there was no coup, who now came back to say there is coup?
All right, let me come to you, Peter.
The truth is that after what we've seen on the internet, which most of them are not true, about what's happening in Burkina Faso based on the change of government, being a military man being there, so there is this embrace, this new acceptance of military coup. We are seeing some pictures that are coming out from the jail. Some of those things are not real. So virtually every other person, okay, since Burkina Faso can overnight become a prospering country, so if Nigeria have same thing, it is not true. These things were not done because of just bad governance. Some of these things they've seen their colleagues in other Western coasts.
So it's ambition.
Sometimes it's pure ambition. Because I read a report, I was trying to search for a report, that this school was planned on the 25th of
that could also be a digression which you are not aware of. So you don't tie it to the government of today or the performance of government of today.
We cannot take this away from it. There is massive hunger in the land.
All right, but nothing massive hunger in the land, failing your exam, bad governance or whatever. That is why you have election and re-election. You should not take the laws into your hand, because coup is an illegal act. That's all for now. We'll be right back.